Mic test, 1, 2, 1, 2. Looking at my levels, look pretty good. Let's turn those up a little bit. How's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 55 of the Sunday afternoon sessions where we talk Atlas Earth. If you're new to the game, have questions, throw them into chat. If you've been playing for a while, let me know what you've been up to in game and how you're doing on the challenge ladder this week, just so we know what we want to talk about. Either way, it's kind of a rainy day over here, a little bit of a surprise, and my network bandwidth is showing a little bit of a low warning. So if you run into issues streaming this, I'm sorry. Like I said, a sudden storm popped up a little bit ago, so I don't know what's with the network, but we will go ahead and chug along. I'll start off as usual by saying what I've been up to in Atlas Earth this week. Basically just getting started in the April challenges. I'm doing pretty well. I'm about 750 points into the challenges, but I'm kind of locked up right now. Most of what I have available on my board, I'm either not going to do, like the travel or like buy a badge currently, or it's locked up with mini games. So I'm waiting for the next mini game to happen so I can move things along a little bit. As I usually talk about, I do have the purchase parcel 1 up, but I'm waiting several days to get further into the ladder before I go ahead and purchase my parcels, just so I don't have to travel very many times to go ahead and buy my parcels. You can see here I'm still sitting at 1,947 parcels. I haven't moved since last year's challenge ladder, as I had said, or last month's challenge ladder, that is. I usually, it seems in the last several months, I do most of my parcel purchasing. Kind of a tongue twister there at the beginning of the month, and then the end of the month is kind of my saving up for the next month's challenges, so I have enough Atlas bucks to go ahead and work my way through the purchase parcel challenges. So that's where I'm sitting. Of course, also, if you've been following the channel, you know that April 15th is my 2-year mark, which I will be doing a special video on. I was hoping to hit 2,000. I'm not going to hit 2,000, but we'll see how far I can get, and I'll do a complete breakdown of my first 2 years in Atlas Earth, and we can talk about it from there. Let's go ahead and dive into chat and see what who's here and what's up with everybody. As always, let me know in chat what you've been up to in Atlas Earth and how you're doing on the challenges. The investor says, "Hi, sir. I hope you're going well." And the rest of the family is also. I started to watch again at many of your older videos, just in case I missed interesting topics, and put like on the ones I forgot. Well, thank you. As always, likes and comments and things on videos helps the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I've done. I'm at this point where I think I've covered just about everything in Atlas Earth. There are a few videos that I have in my library. I'm serious. If you're new to Atlas Earth, you can probably look through my back library of videos. I have hundreds of videos I've done in the last couple years, almost like on every topic within Atlas Earth. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm at a standstill. I'm at a point where I'm trying to come up with new ideas that are new, fresh, interesting, and not kind of rehash older stuff. Although there are a few of the older videos that have had changes and things that have moved around over the years, so I could probably stand to redo those. But I've got a pretty solid set of videos about almost everything within Atlas Earth. And, this year has been several changes so far. Look forward to new videos. A lot of new videos that I've done lately are about, news within Atlas Earth, what's happening, what Annalise has let us know is happening, and how I see that playing out. I'm still following my standard. I did a lot of videos about, tier jumping and moving through the game at a logical pace to make the best you can. And I did that. I'm in the 2 times tier multiplier now, working on the 2,000 parcels. And like I said, I'm coming up on 2 years. Yeah, I realize that's faster than a lot of people will go through, but everybody moves through the game at a little bit different pace. You just have to find out what's good for you and doesn't stress you out. And, at the end of the day, it's got to be fun. I mean, it is called a game. And it's become more of a play to earn platform, but there's game elements to it. So if you're not having fun, then it's not really worth it. I'm still having fun with Atlas Earth. So in fact, I've engaged since I don't really want to get too heavy into this, but we can talk about it a little bit because we started getting in this discussion on my Discord channel this past week on how what I've earned as far as Atlas bucks within Atlas Earth has kind of went down over the last, 6-8 months. So I've had to engage other mechanisms to kind of make more money so I could keep buying land, right? And one of those is Scrambly. A video just went live earlier. If you're interested in that, check that out after the show. But I'm making a good deal of money off of Scrambly, and I have plans of bringing that money from that platform into Atlas Earth and buying land with it. So stay tuned for that. And we are doing well. Like I said, it's a rainy day here. Happy Easter to all those who celebrate that. And everybody, I hope your spring's getting off to a good start. My yard, the plants and the flowers are popping up, and the flowering bushes are starting to flower and everything. And my daughter was out in the yard doing some planting yesterday, so I know it's spring, kind of getting spring going and winter stuff put away. I still need to put away the snow shovels, which are still on the back porch. Brandon's here. Welcome, Brandtastic. Thanks for dropping by as always. Southern Coin Hunter says, hello all. Now I'm at 130 common, 92 rare, 42 epic, and 13 legendary with 2/3 of the ladder done. Well, you're a little bit forward of me because I'm just shy of about halfway through the ladder. Like I said, I'm really at like a stopping point at like 750 until I work through a few more mini games. And also, I will probably do my land purchase maybe in another few days, and that'll help me jump through a little bit better. But most of what I've been doing is the first few levels of arcade, first few levels of surveys this past week. Yeah, those are the major things I've done. Sharon E is here, says, good afternoon, Bronze Dragon. I'm saving for my first tier jump. Well, good luck. Let us know how it's going. Those first few tier jumps, they do take a while to save up for. It feels very satisfying when you get to do it, though. I have some videos on my channel where I'm like buying 200 parcels at once and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. Markham Travel and Copwatch says, happy Easter, like and subscribe. Yeah, please leave a like and subscribe on the channel. Think about becoming a member if you want to support us. I always appreciate everything. Eric Wang's in the house. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world, because we have members that attend the show and watch my videos from all over the world now. So I appreciate it. Especially there's places like, on the other side of the world where people have to get up really late to attend. Brandtastic says, happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter to you as well, Brandon. Jacob says, I took control of my first mayorship today. Ironically, it was someone with a profile picture of somebody in an Easter bunny costume, and they have had that picture since I started in January. That's interesting. I thought my thumbnail was pretty funny that I had put up today. I didn't promise to wear an Easter bunny costume. My in-game icon has been the same since I started playing, as far as I know. It's just my standard channel logo without, the channel name on it and everything, just the dragon. I created that dragon a couple years ago using AI back then, and I just thought it was so incredibly cool. I just really liked it. So I've been using it since then. In fact, that's the same logo that goes on any of the merchandise. If you buy it, that flashes across the screen, like t-shirts and cups and stuff like that. George says, what would you say is a better way to get Atlas bucks through mayorships or landmarks? Oh, that's a tough one, George. First of all, we haven't heard very many at all details about landmarks. Landmarks has been one of those things that's been coming soon forever, so I'll have to reserve my opinion about those. I think the landmarks, they're going to be, you're going to be able to earn off of them. It's just, I think it's going to be more of a status thing. Like, hey, I play Atlas Earth and I've got, whatever local landmark is you have. I think you will be able to make a little bit off of them. And I think that the landmarks will end up earning you more Atlas bucks than like a local mayorship or something like that. But it stands to reason it's also going to cost you more than a local mayorship. But, when all's said and done, you won't have to worry about somebody taking it away from you unless you auction it off, right? So I think, to answer your question, neither of them are going to be your prime source of Atlas buck earning in the game. You're still going to need to have to participate in, the challenge ladder and, playing games and stuff like that to earn your Atlas bucks. I still haven't seen anything in the game yet that makes as good Atlas buck conversion rate from US dollar than the challenge ladder. Just, playing through your challenge ladder on a monthly basis. Alex B says, still playing Splinterlands? Yes, I am, Alex. But I stopped our live stream on Saturday for a few reasons, mostly because I need that time. On Saturdays, basically, I am relaxing a little bit, but now I am also still searching for a job. So I've been doing a lot. The job market's not pretty here in the United States. I don't know what it is like in other countries, but it's just not pretty, especially for what I do for a living, So I don't want to be a downer, but yes, I still have my accounts playing. Yes, I'm still playing the land game in Atlas Earth, or in Splinterlands, but I'm just not doing the stream currently. So, Proud Mom is in the house. Welcome, Mama. Says happy Easter to everyone. Happy Blue Dolphin says happy Easter. How can you not have fun? It's play to pay platform, even if it's $1. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of platforms out there that I've been, I've talked about Scrambly on the channel, and there's some other platforms I'm looking at. Pharaoh Silver does a number of, talks about a lot of different other platforms than I do. I still haven't found one that is like Atlas Earth in the fact that it's actually a game and not just a base platform. If you know of a game like Atlas Earth where you can kind of make money like Atlas Earth, let me know. I'd be interested in covering it on the channel. But so far, Atlas Earth has been the one I've stuck with for 2 years, and still enjoying it. So yeah. And that doesn't stop. What do I say? They call them trolls on the internet. Then it doesn't stop people from leaving weird comments on my videos. Like, I just got a troll comment on a couple of videos this morning, and yeah, I know I shouldn't really be bothered by it, but they leave comments like it's a scam, stuff like that, and they don't bother to back up what they're saying, because I've done a number of videos, on the topic, and those kind of things just bug me. But happy Easter to you as well. Poker Mouse, happy Easter to you. And hey, it's Sherry. Happy Easter to you. Poker Mouse says, enjoying the 4-day break from the day job, and got to work tonight on the night job, so we'll be listening rather than messaging. But guys, like, subscribe, and become a member, and also lend me £5 worth a try. Well, good luck at work there. Yeah. I'm currently trying to find a job, so. But everything's going pretty well. I've got a lot of blessings in my life, so I'm not complaining. Divine Appointment says, "Good day, everyone. I have 286 commons, 177 rare, 103 epic, and 33 legendary. $35 per month, and 675 on the challenge ladder. A little bit ahead of me then. Waiting for the mini games to open more, as many of us probably are." Yeah, it was an interesting starting off the month. It's like you got started, and then there's like a couple days before you could even play a mini game. I don't know. I'm assuming the mini games are scheduled the same as they always are. It's just for some reason they seem more spaced out this month. I don't know. Maybe they changed them. I haven't asked Annalise that, but. Southern Coin Hunter says, "One thing I learned after tier jump is to save Atlas bucks for the break-even point." Yeah, I mean, that's the whole, the whole idea of tier jumping changed somewhat whenever the challenge ladder was unveiled and came out, because I think that with the challenge ladder, if you're attempting to work your way through the challenge ladder on a monthly basis, whether you do it free or paid, I think you're better off tier jumping to that break-even point rather than fully through the tier. Because if you jump to the break-even point, then you have a little bit of cushion of parcels to actually do purchase parcel challenges for the month. So you can take advantage of both, working your way through that tier to the break-even point, and then slicing off and completing some of those purchase parcel challenges. But just be aware where the top of your tier is, right? Symbian Ministry says, "Hi all, happy Easter to everyone from East England." Well, thanks for dropping by, Symbian Ministry. Always good to see everyone drop by. Brandon says, "I'm starting a thing where when I reach 1,000 Atlas bucks, where I screen record me buying 10 plots of land and upload to YouTube, and not doing full tier jumps anymore. That takes too long." Well, like I said, it's not for everybody, and I've done the math and done the videos, and tier jumping primarily makes the biggest difference when you're early on in your Atlas Earth career at the first few tiers, right? After that, it's like a trail off. It makes less and less difference. So as you accumulate more land in Atlas Earth, tier jumping makes less and less money difference. It technically does save you money throughout until you hit the highest tiers, but it makes less difference. So you have to just understand how the game works, how much value you're getting out of that monthly challenge ladder. And I keep talking about this because that's where I get a lot of my Atlas bucks on a monthly basis, is off the subscription to the challenge ladder, right? So, yeah. But that should be interesting. As far as posting them, gives you something to do, right? Brandon says, "If others can do it, so can I." Yes, sir. Arbin's here. Good afternoon to you as well. Big supporter of the channel. Thanks, Arbin, for coming by. Retro Cube is here. Says, "I bought 11 parcels yesterday. Put me over 1,300 now." Nice. Like I said, I'm working on 2,000 right now, but I'll get there one of these days. Arbin says, "I'm on the 25% on badges." Well, that's good. Yeah, I worked my way there at Christmas time, and whatever badges accumulate over that is just whatever I get off of the monthly challenge ladder, right? Because I'm not specifically going out and buying badges anymore. I did like the idea that they had floated in the middle of last year, something like that, about extending how badges work and adding more tiers to it. I did like that. Obviously, on the back end, they'd have to do the numbers and figure out how it's going to work, but they haven't talked about that for, lately. So I don't know whether they've completely dropped that idea or what's up with that. Maybe I might ask Annalise that. StylinNet says, I just got my phone back. I had broke it again, so it halted my play in Atlas Earth, so I need to really grind. Well, stop breaking your phone. I know, easier said than done. I try. I take very good care of my phone. So I know some people have bad luck with phones. So good luck in your catching up. Do keep in mind, though, that you can do at least surveys on the website. I was trying to think of anything else you can do on the website without your phone. There's not too much, but you can do surveys on the phone without the phone. So, you know, if you're without your phone for a few days, you could at least do a few surveys and still mount up some Atlas bucks. Brandon says, I quit Just Play like a smoker quitting smoking cold turkey. Was it? I haven't used Just Play. I see the ads for it. Was it? Did it do something bad? Did you stop earning any money off of it? I know I watch the videos from Pharaoh Silver once in a while, and he talks about some of the various platforms where they've basically went downhill. And that's why I keep saying that, well, you know, I'm crossing my fingers for Atlas Earth that everything keeps going well, because we've seen changes to the game this year, but you know, I still get my payouts, just like with Scrambling. I get my payouts immediately, right? And there's not really, there's a $5 minimum to cash out, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm sure it costs them a certain amount for the transaction fee on the back end, and it has to be $5. But there's some of these platforms that are making it harder and harder and harder to even cash out. So I was wondering if that was the problem, or what problem you ran into with Just Play. Tails. Tails is here. Good to see you streaming. Hope you're doing well, Bronze Dragon. Well, thanks for stopping by, Tails. Tails is another streamer on various Web3 games and other style games. So thanks for dropping by, Tails. Check out his channel if you're interested in like Splinterlands and other Web3 type games. Appreciate you dropping by. Brandon says the coins to dollar is too low. Oh, that's the problem. So you have to do too much work for $1, right? Yeah, I can see that. That's one of the things they have to change. It's like, broadly speaking, it's kind of a big topic here in Atlas Earth, is what I've noticed, because, you know, on my Discord channel, I have some newer players, and they are posting these high rewards they're getting in Atlas bucks off of Atlas Arcade challenges, or, you know, playing through Atlas Arcade games. And I'm like, wow, it's been so long since I got that kind of reward. And that led me to the thought process that what's happening to me, at least, and you can back this up if it's happened to you, is I've been playing the Atlas Arcade games for 2 years now, right? And what I've earned has just kept going down. So I used to have like these multi-hundred goals, right? You get like, you know, 25, 45, 55 Atlas bucks for completing the different things in games. Now I'm down to like 5 Atlas bucks, complete 100 levels for 10 Atlas bucks, that kind of thing. But here's the thing, here's a variable there, is what I've been noticing is that I don't spend money in these games. But some people do, and some people have reported that if you spend a few dollars here and there in these games, then that kind of puts you into a different category. And they start offering you more Atlas bucks. So I haven't done that yet. I might try that, and I might do like a video and do it for a couple weeks and see if I, you know, come out positive. In other words, put a few bucks in arcade games and it equals more Atlas bucks on the backside. But I'm making very little out of Atlas bucks. That's why my amount of Atlas bucks and parcels I make in the game has went way down. But I took big notice of that, because in Scrambly, they actually call it out, because it's a little it's a leaderboard of people who actually spend more in these arcade games. They actually get bonuses. like multiples for what they're earning in the coins, right? So I'm like, that seems to stand to reason. And, it's one of those topics that people have talked about on the Atlas Earth various, Discord, and also over on the Reddit as well, that if you spend money, you can earn more. But, especially I've been hearing reports from people in Europe and other countries outside the United States. They make very little off the Atlas Arcade. So it just complicates, I don't want to say complicates, it just makes the game harder to work through, right? But it's interesting to talk about. I might try that, but it's kind of on the same topic as Brandon say. The coins to dollar is too low. It's kind of like now in Atlas Earth, it's very much harder for me to make money or make Atlas bucks off of the arcade versus somebody who's relatively new to the game. They're getting a lot of Atlas bucks off the arcade, which is fine because then that helps them get started. But it was just a dramatic fall off. In over the last 6-8 months, I've also seen the change in the games in that it's incredibly hard for me to complete a game anymore. In fact, I would say the last half dozen games I've played, I've only completed one, just because the final goals are just ludicrous. After you get through halfway through the goals for the game, it becomes ludicrous. It's like complete 250 levels for 10 Atlas bucks or whatever. I'm like, that's like 10 hours of my life solidly playing an arcade game for 10 Atlas bucks. I'm like, no thanks. I'm just going to move on to the next one. Okay, I know that's kind of a rant, but I wanted to get that out there, and I thought it was an interesting topic of discussion. Please converse among yourself. The Takumi Brennan says, interesting name, says, makes me miss games like Coin Hunt World that have since closed out. Made like 5,000 off that game. Don't think there will be any platforms like that again. Atlas Earth might come the closest. I really think, and I'm not a finance expert, as always, what we talk about here is from the gaming perspective. It is not financial advice or anything, leaving that out there for the YouTube algorithm. Hey, YouTube algorithm. But these games, and it's kind of the same talking point with Web3 games, which are kind of, make money playing games as well. But the games really have to have a solid financial plan, and they have to be agile. In other words, when they see that plan is starting to fail and their future projections are changing, then they need to be fast and take action. So we've seen Atlas Earth made a few changes this year, but they're still paying out. They haven't changed the rate at which they pay out. We still have 2 SRBs per month. And, the guys at the top of the game would maybe argue a little bit about that new cap as far as the amount of parcels that apply to the SRB. And that's a different topic. But I think overall, for the most people, the greatest majority of people, our payouts haven't changed. So that's definitely a good thing, considering there's a lot of games like Brandon was talking about, or a lot of games or platforms is a better term for them, that have changed and changed for the worse. And, I don't cover a lot of them. That was more Pharaoh Silver's thing. Frankly, what I've also noticed is as you start playing some of these different platforms, you're spreading yourself out, right? You're spreading yourself thin. So I'm playing Atlas Earth, and I'm also playing Scrambly. I'm also testing another platform, which I haven't done a video on, another one of these play-to-earn platforms. I like to play them for a while to get something to talk about and my own opinion about them before I do. But what I've noticed is I'm spreading myself thin. In other words, I can't compete as well on any one platform when I'm trying to play 3 different platforms, right? And at a certain point, I'm also making videos and trying to look for work and everything. So you find yourself like you're spreading a thin layer of peanut butter on a piece of toast, right? Okay. Symbian Ministry says, finish the challenge ladder date. Nice. We're 5 days in and you already completed it. Fastest ever for me by a long way. Guess I was lucky. They just fell in the right order for me this month. That's nice. Yeah, I'm not even close. Like I said, I'm not even halfway through. But good on you. Good on you. Brandon says, "How's Maggie doing?" She's okay. She doesn't like this new food. We have to feed her a special diet now that is better for her kidneys. And she doesn't really like it. It's got a different taste, and we've got this little medicine, this powder we've got to put in her food, and she just does not like the flavor. But we're making stuff up like baked sweet potatoes and putting little baked sweet potatoes in there. She likes that, and trying to get her, to drink more water. She's still her, she's still an old dog, and it's interesting how I always compare how when a human is really ailing, you can really see a human be laying in bed or laying on the couch and complaining somewhat or whatever, where a dog, they just take it and, make the best of it. She's still doing her usual stuff. But we're trying to treat her the best we can and modify it, because really, to tell you the truth, all we can do is just modify our diet. And for those of you who don't know, I've got an older dog named Maggie that has some, end of life kind of kidney problems going on. So we're trying to make it as good for her as possible. Brandon says the payouts on Just Play are too low. Yeah, you have to decide this. When you play these different things, you've got to decide what's worth your time and what's not worth your time, right? BTC Backpacker is here, says 149 commons, 94 rare, 45 epic, 23 legendary, totaling 311 parcels, 15% boost. Well, that sounds like you're making good progress, good steady progress. And that's what it's all about, This is not a get-rich-quick game, right? Hey, Jacob, welcome, and thanks for the super chat. I truly appreciate the support of the channel. Jacob says, I hope you and yours are happy and healthy this Easter. Well, I hope you are too. I hope you and your family are doing well. We're doing pretty good. Like I said, everybody has their trials, and you just have to kind of take them and do the best you can with them and try to be thankful for what you've got, because there's a lot of people that have less than what I've got, so. And Arbin, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the super sticker. I love that. Get good. Thank you also, sir, a big supporter of the channel. I greatly appreciate the support. Proud Mama says, how's the job hunt doing, Bronze Dragon? That's interesting, because I've learned a lot over the last 3.5 weeks. I've been looking for a job, and the job market has just changed a lot. And a lot of it is around AI and such. And I won't bore you all, but it's moving. It's moving. I haven't had any luck yet. It's very hard to get any kind of feedback or any kind of emails or calls or anything out of anybody. So I'm moving along. I've updated all my stuff on LinkedIn and upgraded my resumes and created special resumes for each place I'm submitting to. And that's what I'm doing on a daily basis, really. And I'm also, keeping my learning going along, as far as what I do for a living, and trying to earn some new certifications and stuff. Thanks for asking. RetroCube says somebody always has to bring Maggie up. Well, sorry if you didn't want to hear about Maggie. Kind of a downer, but a lot of people like dogs. Brantastic says, I do miss my $5 a week on the flip side. Yeah. Pokermouse says, Bronze, you can have one of my jobs. What'd you like, wiring new build houses? No, I'm not qualified for that. Although at certain points in my life, I had thought about going in and doing my becoming an electrician. But no. We were talking with my daughter. My daughter's getting ready to move out, and she's moving into a smaller place out of our house. And talking over setting up things in the internet and different how she's going to lay out her house and everything. It's not due to electrical, but networking and stuff like that. That came to mind when you mentioned that. But I am good at networking, so I'll be helping her out with that. Heidi is here and Doombot's here. Doombot says, do the extra Atlas bucks for converting rent happen randomly or planned? They are planned. At the end of the month, usually last day or two of the month, the 33 to 1, it's normally 25 to 1. The last day or two of the month, it goes live and it's 33 to 1. And for the last couple of years, at the very end of the year, around New Year's, there's a 40 to 1 event. So they are planned. And I believe they show up on the calendar under events when the last couple of days. And once in a while, the 33 to 1 kind of laps over into the new month. And if the new month challenges come out and you have the convert rent to Atlas bucks challenge pops up, once in a while, on that first day of the month, you can take advantage of, it's only $1. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get that second level, the $2, 33 to 1. But yeah, they are planned out. Southern Coin Hunter says, my phone stays in a waterproof case. Mine is not waterproof, but it's one of the mid-level Otter boxes. I used to do the heavy-duty Otter box, but it got a little bit too, I had the belt clip and that kind of thing, and it got a little bit too clunky. So I got the mid-level one, and it's got a nice protection around it, and then I've got a glass shield over it. And I do put a glass shield over the cameras as well. And the only thing I've had to replace so far, and I believe I had this phone for like going on 3 years, is the glass shield over the cameras, because I dropped it wrong once and it cracked it. But that's what it was there for, right? BTC Backpacker says, planned, but end of the year is best conversion. Yeah, and I did the numbers, and you're still, I've always said it, I don't do much rent to Atlas buck conversions. I do $3 worth a month, and that's it. That gets me through the first 2 levels of the challenges, and then I leave it at that. Once it comes up to the $4, it just stands there. Because I think that I've done the numbers, and the best expenditure of your money, if you want to put money back into the game, is that challenge ladder subscription, versus converting rent to Atlas bucks or buying the Atlas buck packages or whatever. Brandon says, I remember one point in time they were going to expand passport levels. Is that still true? Yeah, that's what I kind of mentioned earlier. Yeah, they had talked about that. There has been nothing discussed about that lately. I could probably ask Annalise. I'm guessing she will say that she hasn't heard anything about it either. But maybe I'm wrong. I'll ask her. They are very tight-lipped about information until it's exactly when it's going to happen. Pretty close. Lady Sharon says, good morning, happy Easter. A bit late today due to morning devices, so I'm starting from the beginning and listening while having breakfast. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Well, I hope you're having a good Easter as well, Sharon. As always, thank you for stopping by. RetroCube says, I haven't bought any badges since getting to 101. Same here. Because there's no incentive to. There's no incentive to buying a badge and spending 200 Atlas bucks on it. That could be 2 parcels of land, right? If they expand that. If they make more badge tiers, then I'll buy more badges. Yeah, same here. Same here. And they understand that. My assumption is, since they talked about it, they had a plan that they were working on, and then something occurred that got backburnered, or the math didn't work out the way they were doing it, or something happened to where it became not talked about, so to speak. So you got to understand that this is a heavy math. This is a heavy game that relies upon math in the background. And if you change just a little thing, it could possibly take a game that's working out for the company and make it into a game that's losing money. And that's not what we want, right? It's an environment where we make money off the game only if the game makes money as well, So at the end of the game, it is a business. It has to make money, and the math has to work out. Up to now, everything's still going well as far as I know. Obviously, we like to see new things in the game and have, the availability to make extra money, however it may be, obviously. But for us to make extra money, they have to make extra money in some way, So SXH Legend says, if you aren't smart about spending the money on the game, you will be okay. I would say that if you don't follow like tier jumping and different other stuff, you'll just make less money off the game. I think that's a double-edged question though, because you could get into a position by what I consider not making money off the game, in that if you spend money on the game, like say for instance, you went and just bought, put $500 into Atlas Buck packages just so you could jump ahead in the game. It's going to take you a long time to pay off that $500, So that's why I don't emphasize buying Atlas Buck packages. I think the working your way through the challenge ladder on a monthly basis is your best use of money. Now, as far as the tier jumping goes and everything, yeah, you could play the game just without tier jumping and stuff like that. You're just going to make less money. A lot of the talk about tier jumping and buying badges at certain intervals and stuff is just all about strategy and making the most you can off of the game. Do you have to do it? Nah, you don't have to do it. You'll just make less money. The Cave Dwellers is here. Says, you lost AMP and referrals, so Bronze Dragon is hurting. Yeah, I was told that we would see the new AMP program back, relatively soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, the referrals did hurt me. Like I say, you got to have some kind of way to make a little bit extra when you're running a YouTube channel and putting a lot of time and effort into it. So I do appreciate everybody supporting the channel, though. Southern Coin Hunter says, I miss the AMP missions. I do too. I hope they come back and the new program is bigger and better than ever. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they surprise us. And I'm hoping that they expand to different other countries like Canada or the UK at least to get started, right? Sharon E says, I still cannot play Scrambly because they haven't gotten back to me about fixing my email. That's weird. You know what? I think that is one comment that I'm seeing about Scrambly. And I'll be honest with you, because I hooked up to their Discord yesterday to try to find a question when I was making that video yesterday. And one of their downsides is that they expanded very quickly and they are trying to expand their support department. And I'm seeing most people are having very long waits for support to get back to them. And I think that was like Pharaoh Silver's, one of his main points about it that he didn't like was when you get into Scrambly and you have to, before you remove the money, you have to prove who you are, right? And if you have a problem, then you have to put in a ticket, right? Which is what he did. And he had to wait for some obnoxious long time to get support. Now, if you'll remember, Atlas Earth back in the day, several years ago, they've also had to scale up their support department. Their support department wasn't nearly what it is today, right? Today, it's, and this is from an IT guy's perspective, because I'm used to being on the other side of tickets and stuff like that. They've put time, effort, and money into scaling out their support department, and everything runs a lot more smoothly now. It's just the fact that Scrambly is still trying to get there. So, nobody's perfect, right? But Yeah, I can see that. Well, sorry about that. EWV says, I just started a little less than 3 weeks ago and I'm at 90 parcels. Is that good? Yeah, that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. When you first start off, it's just a matter of sticking with it, really. It's just a matter, like I said, everybody progresses at a little different rate. And you have to get into the game, see what's available, see what fits into your daily schedule or monthly schedule, as it were, and just play it, and try to do the best you can and progress. Everybody has different amounts of time and different things they're interested in. Like, I'm not really interested in the mini games because I am not good at them, right? Some people are good at them and they're very interested in them because that's how they make a lot of Atlas bucks, right? So sounds like good progress to me. But like I said, at the very beginning, it's hard to see where the money's going to amount to anything. You can see here, I've always got my phone up here because you can see my rent accrued. I'm working on almost $900. Of course, that's over 2 years. Proud Mama, thank you very much with the super sticker. I'm trying to fist bump. I was trying to read what the little what the bird had on their fists. Thank you for supporting the channel. Big support of the channel, Proud Mama. I gave you a call out on my video this morning. Thanks for. Here's the thing with Scrambly, the two different iOS and Android, it works different depending upon which type of phone you have. And I'm on iOS, so I had to have somebody check if the changes were made on Android as well. And she was the first one to reach out and tell me, check it for me. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. RetroCube says, yeah, Bronze was loving the Salad Works. Yeah, 4-1, baby. And that yogurt shop. I talk about it all the time because a lot of people are like, how did you make such good progress in Atlas Earth? I'm like, I ate a lot of salads and a lot of yogurt. In fact, my family was probably glad to take a break from Salad Works for a while. So I am hoping that they pop back up, and I am hoping that there is that mechanism brought back to where we can get more than one Atlas buck per US dollar. And I know a lot of that probably comes down to how much the actual place like SaladWorks wants to pay for advertising. It's all just logical, right? But I'm hoping that comes back so we can look at different places. Oh man, they're giving 2-1 today or something like that. Maybe run specials, something like that. Because I know things will pop up, and those, you could double dip with those companies as well, because you could have the salad, like I had the SaladWorks app and the Yogurt Shop app, right? And you can get Atlas bucks for your purchases from the AMP program. Plus you get your points with the company itself. So they mount up over time and you can get your free lunches or whatever. I loved that. But with that said, I was kind of tired of salads. Brandon says, do you think we'll get any Earth Day specials, like maybe an extra SRB or double the Atlas bucks for 20-minute ads? Have no idea, Brandon. Have no idea. Best I can tell you is if Annalise releases any news, I'll do a video on it like I usually do. But she usually, like I said, they're very tight to the vest with information. So usually I have to like jump on it. If she puts out some information that's usually within the next few days it's going to happen, I have to jump on it and do a video. So pay attention to the videos that go live. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Arbin says, happy Easter, everyone. My opinion is better buy parcels than badges. I agree with that. I don't know yet. I'm going to do my math, and at the end of the month, you can have the answers. Well, you can still look at Tasty Wallet's math. I link in to his new users guide underneath all my videos. And basically, it's a strategy of buying parcels and then at certain intervals buying badges to get to that next percentage boost, right? Because that percentage boost does help. Because to be honest, the percentage boost you get from badges is in effect at all times, whether you're boosted or not. Now, it's not it doesn't bring you in as much extra rent as that active boost, which is what you're buying your ads for, right? But it does help out. I progressed through the game about halfway through the game using the tier jump method, and then buying buying badges in between my tier jumps. Up to a certain point. Once I got to the 15%, I stopped doing that. I just started buying badges whenever for the challenges and progressing, and when I went on trips, because as we always say, the best time to buy badges is if you're going on holiday, right? Or going on a vacation, or even business trip. When you're out of your local area, that's the best time to buy badges. But I do agree with Arbin in that you're going to make more money off of buying more parcels strategically. Heidi says, Brandon, I thought they would do something special on Atlas Earth when the crew launched. So go around the moon. We got nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I've been keeping up with that too. My wife used to work on the space shuttle program, so we're very interested in the space program in this household. So, excuse me. Southern Coin Hunter says you can always do pizza deliveries on a part-time basis. Yeah, I'm past the whole pizza delivery. I am in that stage of kind of widening what I'm looking for. In other words, because companies just they just don't want to pay anymore, and they want you to do the work of 3 people, really. Arbin says the company should give the same rewards in the different countries because it is the same amount when you get parcels. Well, Arbin, we've talked about this before, and the whole game is just based on advertising. And what you earn in your country this is a common complaint. Everybody outside the United States complains about it. But what it is all about is how much Atlas Earth can make as a company from advertising in your country. And that is what the whole tiers are based upon, right? So it's all about advertising. And if it weren't for advertising money, then there just wouldn't be an Atlas Earth game, right? So Brandon says, did you name Maggie from Maggie Simpson? No, I did not. Her full name is Magnolia, and I named her that because the magnolia tree, the southern magnolia tree, is one of my favorite trees. When I lived in Slidell outside of New Orleans, I had this huge, beautiful magnolia tree, and I loved everything about that tree except for those damn pods that would drop. Yeah, she was named after my favorite tree, which is a magnolia tree. Heidi says, is everyone ready for the minigame event tonight? I'll be playing. I think everybody will be playing because it's the beginning of the month. At the beginning of the month, we have the highest attendance, as far as I know. Of course, I don't see the numbers, but logic would say that, right? RetroCube says, sure, just playing Warship for challenges. Yeah, same here. Warship is one of my least favorite games. Andy says, Bronze the GOAT. Well, thanks. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for all you do. Well, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate watching the show and watching videos and such. Heidi says, Bronze Dragon, do you still give your daughter an Easter basket? No, we do not. We stopped that a while ago. She's in her 20s now, so they do. My wife and daughter will buy like some chocolates when they go to the market or something or other, whatever they want to have to eat. They know to pick me up some licorice jelly beans because that's my favorite. I know. Licorice is one of those, black licorice is one of those things. It's a polarizing flavor. Either you like it or you don't. I love black licorice. So, but no, we don't buy her. We don't get her an Easter basket anymore. In fact, she's in the stages of moving out currently. So going through that whole hassles and everything. You know all the moving hassles there are. Sharon says, Sharon E says, I only play the mini games for the reward ladder as my scores are terrible. Same here, Sharon. Same here. Heidi says, I am 3 parcels away from the 3 times multiplier rent boost tier. Well, good luck, Heidi. Yeah. Not too far from 2 times. Getting closer and closer to becoming a baby whale. Jared's in the house. Yo, Jared, thanks for dropping by. Lady Sharon says, LOL, you just got to my comment that was supposed to be services, not devices. Okay, yeah. I can only read what's there. Sometimes I'll read a comment and I'm like, yeah, they didn't, that was like autocorrect or something like that. Sometimes people use their voice to text kind of thing for comments, and it doesn't work exactly right. It's working a lot better than it used to, right? But sometimes I just can't guess what you're saying. Brandon says, at one point in time, I was buying the $5 110 parcel AB packs every now and then, but stopped. Are you sure you don't want to work for Atlas Earth? No. I don't think they really have a spot for what I do. Of course, I could be wrong. If they want me, I reach out. I mean, yeah. Annalise knows my Discord. We talk once in a while. Lady Sharon says, not sure if I'll play today's mini game. It's right when we are planning to eat. We eat a kind of lunch-dinner mix every afternoon on holidays. Got a decent start to the month, though. Yeah, I'm looking forward to dinner tonight. My wife got a ham. She always likes to have ham and potato salad on Easter. But yeah, you're right. Now, during daylight time, I guess today's is a little bit earlier since it's on a Sunday, but usually the games happen right at my dinner time. Of course, during daylight time, savings time, then they're a little bit later, but yeah, I understand what you mean. But there's a lot of times where I'll be eating and punching the button to play through the game. And yes, I'm running behind, as always in chat, just trying to get to everybody's chat. Lady Sharon says, since we're seeing like ads for Scrambly everywhere, I think the big problem was they decided to go ahead and do this big ad push and got more people than expected signing up. Yeah, I mean, that's almost a good problem for a business, because when you open a business, you want to get that, right? But obviously they have to work on their support, right? Which is something Atlas Earth did as well. My main beef is that one advertisement that they, as far as I know, they're still putting out that claims that you can get credit for games you've previously played. And I have not found that to be true. I have found that to be false advertising. So other than that, I've been having good luck, and hopefully, knock on wood, I just knocked on my desk, that I don't have to contact support. Otherwise, it's been playing out. And I did a video that went live this morning that has one of my takeaways as far as how to strategically play and make more money in it. But yeah, I mean, growing pains, right? So hopefully they get there. Hopefully maybe they should contact Atlas Earth and find out how they improved their trouble call system, or ticketing system rather. Proud Mama says, thanks for the shout out. Like I said, I'll let you know if anything goes into place in Pengu Pace. Well, thanks. Thank you. Sharon E says, I miss AMP. It helped me complete the reward ladder. Same here, because you got a decent amount of points off that the AMP purchases. I'll be honest, it gave me an excuse to treat myself. There it is. Because what I was doing was, going out for a yogurt once a week for lunch, or then when the yogurt shop left the AMP program, I switched to hoagies, sandwiches, and it, I typically took my lunch to work when I was working, right? just to save a little bit of money in the lunchbox. But once a week, I treated myself and used the AMP program challenges to be an excuse. You know, you got to treat yourself once in a while, right? We only live so long, and most of life is tasks, a whole series of tasks, right? Just to make it through life. And once in a while, you get some happiness in life, and you got to treat yourself once in a while, stuff you like. So having a good sandwich or having a good yogurt once in a while or having a dish of ice cream once in a while is good for your soul, right? Brandon says, I seen that short from Sammy Khan tried a new burger from McDonald's. I'm wondering if that's a nod that we might get McDonald's in the new AMP. No, I think it's that he jumped on the bandwagon since every other person and their mother was doing videos about that new Atlas Earth, the new McDonald's Arch, whatever it's called, Big Arch. Yeah, this burger, I can't believe there's a burger from McDonald's that costs like $11 or $12 now. It looks like a decent burger. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to McDonald's, though. But it's like everybody and their brother was doing videos about the Big Arch and the new Whopper from Burger King and comparing them to and stuff. He was just trying to jump on the bandwagon. They're just doing advertising. It's just advertising, trying to grow their user base by getting people to view their shorts, all right? Heidi says, McDonald's would be great, but I don't like their fries. I guess I don't mind their fries. Like I said, it's not a place that I don't really have one that's relatively close to me, and what we eat usually doesn't include McDonald's. It's kind of like I don't have a Walmart around me anymore. And don't go to Walmart. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to Walmart. The Cave Dweller says, I have forgotten Atlas Earth just out of this week. Been busy having to order buses to go to the post office to pick up Amazon packages. I now have pots, pans, bakeware, and a rolling pin. I can eat now. Nice. Nice. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. Everybody's got to eat. I'm also learning keyboard. Nice. I type pretty well. Learned how to type when I was in college, and it served me well. I mean, most of probably still being able to type was from taking part in various MMOs over the years, like EverQuest and WoW, because you'd have to type a lot. You'd have to type comments very quickly to people as action was happening in the games to get your, you know, what you're doing apart. This was before, or kind of if you didn't want to use voice, right? Azor Ahai, a member of Farrell Silver's group, thanks for dropping by, says, sorry if I mispronounced that name. I currently make $1.04 daily with maxed badges, but if I didn't have any badges, I would only make 81 cents a day. Badges really do help. Yeah, I agree. And you can go on the Atlas Earth calculator and you can play that around, or play around with that. Put your totals in, and then play around with the badge numbers, right? And it'll show you exactly. You know, let's take a look to their point. So this is my current setup, right? I do have the 101 badges put in, but I don't want to move my phone. Screw it up. Actually, I have 104. But if I moved it, it's just messed up. Okay, so I just wanted to tell it. So averaged out 1,947 parcels, 104 badges, boosted 20 hours per day, because yes, I still do boost. I'm at $1.82 per day average, or $55 per month. This is with the SRB factored in. Now, if I brought that down to, say, 31 badges, so I changed it to 31, and it brought me, hate it when it goes off dark mode, $1.68. Seeing if my numbers are right. Yeah. $1.68 to $1.82. So it's a little bit of difference. But the whole key there is your badge boost is flat, and it's a percentage, not a multiplier, but it is on at all times. So even if you forget to boost manually, you still got your badge boost that's going on, right? So. Brandon says, I love their fries. Maybe it's location, Heidi. I think about fries, and this is wherever they're cooked, because this comes from my cooking background as well. Any fried food comes down to the condition of the grease it's fried in. And of course, you know, how they make it. Say, for instance, like Burger King puts like a special kind of coating on their fries. If you like that, that's fine. But fried food comes down to grease not being worn out and being clean grease, which cooks at a higher temperature, right? Because fried food that is fried in old grease, where restaurants are trying to, I know this isn't a cooking show, but I'm an old chef, you know, so when that grease breaks down, it starts cooking at a lower and lower temperature, and then you get fried food that's like dark and oily, and it's not crispy and everything. So yeah, I could talk about it for a while, but I'll get stuff, especially you don't want to have food that is like, you have to have a separate fryer for fish and shrimp versus like your fries or onion rings, because if you fry them in the same, you'll get fries that taste like fish, you know, and some people don't like fish. So anyway, different discussion. But like I said, I haven't had McDonald's fries in a while. I don't have anything against them, but Heidi says Five Guys fries, yum. So Heidi likes Five Guys. I hear they're expensive. I went one time when we moved up here, but I haven't been back over there. Frankly, all the, you know, since I had an operation that involved eating less greasy foods, I just can't eat like a big greasy burger or anything anymore. The Cave Dweller says McDonald's is the worst fast food restaurant. My financial journey is here, not Bronze the Goat, Bronze the Dragon. Yeah. Thank you very much, and thanks for stopping by. Southern Coin Hunter says, yes, the pods from a magnolia tree are bad, and so are sweet. My dog, when I was down there, liked to fetch them. You'd throw them like a stick, and she'd go fetch them, and then she'd lay down and tear them apart. But, man, I'll tell you what, if you hit one with a lawnmower and didn't pick them up first, it would fling out the side, and hopefully nobody got hit, because it was like getting hit by a baseball. RetroCube says, I know Atlas Earth isn't an investment, but this month I did purchase the season pass for the premium side of the challenge ladder for 1 year at $110. It's the best thing. Is that the best bang for the buck? Yes, it is. I've got videos on it, and as far as I know, the math hasn't really changed. The challenge ladder, if you want to put money back into the game, the challenge ladder, if you can complete at least 75% of it, or even better, if you can complete the challenge ladder, is the best use of putting money back into the game. And, you know, buying a yearly pass just saves you 8% off the top. So it makes it a little bit better deal. I still do it monthly because I'm of the persuasion that if they make some changes, I want to be able to turn it off. You know, I have nothing against doing it yearly, but I just like the option. I'm paying a little bit extra, 8%, not a whole lot, for the availability of being able to turn it off if they make a change that I just don't like and I don't deem that it's worth it anymore. So the Cave Dweller says, like how many of us are talking about ducks these days, autocorrect must be off point. That's funny. Sharon E says, what is the LPU artwork depicting on the reward ladder reward? I can't make it out. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can kick in. I kind of don't want to change the way I have my phone set up. I kind of don't want to change it. Somebody kick in and tell us what the reward ladder badge is. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Lady Sharon says, I can't do that with my mom. Eat and punch the button, that is. My parents are in their 80s and I'm 54, and yes, I will get yelled at if I use the phone at dinner. Yeah, I think that's still a big thing. We largely just sit around the TV and watch a show when we're eating. But there's a difference between sitting around the TV in your front room and eating and sitting at a table where you have other people that you're paying attention to, whether that be your mom and dad or somebody you went out to dinner with or something like that. You have to show them due respect, right? And I consider, I agree with you. I agree with them as well that if you go to dinner with somebody and you're not just sitting around the TV watching and eating, then it's all due respect to pay attention to what they're talking about and everything instead of your phone. But what do I know? I'm just an old graybeard. Lady Sharon says, I don't expect it to last the 2 hours, though, so I will try at least to do 10 between us eating and setting up to play games. Heidi says, I would work for Atlas Earth if they had a think tank. I would even work for Atlas Bucks. Well, I need to pay for the rent, so, you know what I mean. I need to pay off my Broncos, what I need to do. Brandon says, is it worth converting rent to Atlas Bucks anymore? Like I said, I just do those first couple levels, $3 a month, and those are because it gets you a decent amount of points for the reward ladder. I don't go past that, though. And I'm not a person that saves up for the end of the month 33 to 1 or the 40 to 1 at the end of the year, just because that's just not part of my strategy. And I've done the numbers, and my money putting back into Atlas Earth is better with, like we were mentioning earlier, the monthly challenge ladder subscription. That $10 is, as far as I know, after I've done all the math comparing, still the best way to put money back into Atlas Earth. If you want to, not investment advice, etc. The Cave Dweller says, I have found that to be true. Scrambly lets you choose an already installed game. Wink, wink, wink. I'm using Atlas Earth. Proud Mama says, the LPU is for the golf minigame. Heidi says, only if you have the challenge ladder quest, Brandon. Brandtastic. That being said, I cash rent to Atlas Bucks all the time. Like I said, everybody plays it a little bit differently, so, yeah. RetroCube says, yep, life is a grind, so it is good to treat yourself from time to time. I agree. The Cave Dweller says, I'm surprised anyone still eats Mickey D's. It's gotten so expensive. The price of McDonald's, and I'm not just beating up on McDonald's, any fast food these days. I can go to a regular restaurant around the corner and have like a mom and pop locally owned shop and have a better quality dinner for the same amount of money. DJ Dubstomps in the house with the super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I truly appreciate it. Heidi says, I do withdraw around $20 worth of rent every month. Excuse me. I'm getting ready to change my plan, and it's going to occur right after I do my 2-year video. I'm at about $55 a month. I usually remove rent from the game twice a month, usually right after SRBs, right? Because remember, and I want to bring this up because Pharaoh Silver pointed this out, I forget, there was another platform that I guess got shut off, play to earn platform, and I forget the name of it, but he did a video on it this past week. And people had hundreds of dollars saved up in the game. They turned off the game. Guess what? Those people are out that money. So my main point here is, I tried to talk about this once in a while, is that I'm not thinking Atlas Earth is doing bad or anything, but I'm saying that withdraw your money on a regular basis. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be every $5. You can make your own plan. Just depends on how much you make off the game, right? Like I said, I do it twice a month after SRBs, just because I can remember, because that's when I see my greatest accumulation of money, right? But you need to remove your money on a usual basis, whatever your plan is, because if they turn off the game, guess what? Your money is poof. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about it on the boards. I've got $500 saved up in game. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? Like, I mean, I've let it go, up decently high, but now I'm on a regular basis of removing twice a month, so and no matter how much I'm removing, it will still remain, I'm removing it twice a month. If it gets much higher, then I might remove like once a week or something like that, because I don't want to be in that situation where I've got a bunch of money in game, they turn off the game, and then I'm out my money, right? Happy Blue Dolphin says the big arch looks weird, especially those black seeds. Yeah, just different type of seed. I mean, I have watched a few videos. There's one guy that's all he does on YouTube. I forget his name. He dresses up in a suit and he just eats fast food and talks about it and rates it, right? I forget his name, but he's very popular. He's got like millions of subscribers or whatever. But I watched him taste it. He seemed to have a good opinion of it, but it's still, I eat relatively fast food once in a while, but we eat from local places, like a pizza shop or something like that, And very unhealthy to eat. Yes, very much. The Cave Dweller says, wrong type of keyboard, Bronze Dragon. Oh, music keyboard. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Was not even thinking about that. Brandon says, do you know if the camp LPUs will ever come back? I would consider buying the $99.99 one where I camp at Dillsboro. Well, that is an idea that's been talked about, but there's no further information on that. They did talk about bringing back LPUs in some form or fashion, like a store, you could buy them, or, rotate different LPUs so that you could buy them from the past. There was also, I believe, the idea talked about of some kind of program where it was like a collector's collection. You know how a lot of these games now have like the badge collection and going and stuff. Something like that where you might get a little bonus in the game for collecting badges. I don't know. That was talked about, albeit briefly, but I haven't heard anything on it lately. And of course, that's a prime news item that I'd want to make a video about if they put out any information on it. And Brandon goes on and say, Indiana? Oh, yeah, I used to camp around Indiana when I was growing up. I grew up in Indiana, central Indiana. Proud Mama says, I joined the Explorer Club and am currently saving up to take back my mayorship. Well, good luck. Good luck on that. And I also have news after the 2-year video, once again, that may lead down the Explorer Club path. Stay tuned. DJ Dubstomp is in the house. Good morning, you all. Good morning, and thank you once again for the super chat. Proud Mama says, that's awesome. Hope you're having fun at the Cave Dwellers. Brandon says, KFC was good at one point in time, but not as good anymore. I prefer Popeyes. We get KFC once in a while. Like once a month or something, my wife will say, hey, I feel like having some KFC. But maybe once a month is it. I've always liked KFC better than Popeyes. I lived in the South in Louisiana for quite a while, which is where Popeyes came from, and we had a place, a Popeyes near me, but we didn't go there that often. And their chicken was just really greasy. One thing I did like was their crawfish tails. They called them popcorn crawfish tails, and once a year during crawfish season, they would do the fried crawfish tails. I did like that, but their biscuits were greasy, and I just always preferred KFC. Azor High says the LPU is golf. Well, thank you for confirming. And DJ Dubstomp says 7,192 parcel, and they are earning $2.47 daily at 2 times multiplier, and they are boosted 24 hours. Cacker YT says, I have a couple questions. I just started today and bought 100 Atlas bucks and bought 1 plot of land. I also got the challenge ladder. Does the challenge ladder missions refresh? Okay, so since you're new, what happens is the challenge ladder refreshes at the beginning of the month. On the first day of the month, you get a complete new set of challenges. And the only way to clear a challenge off of your list is to do it. There are going to be some challenges that you just don't want to do. You know, like say, you know, I don't do the travel mission, you know. So that's just going to stay on your list, okay? If you want to free up a spot to get a new challenge, you have to do one of the challenges that are on your list. That's how you clear it. And usually if you clear like a minigame challenge, then you're going to get another minigame challenge. Some of the other challenges are backed up by other challenges. For instance, like usually buy parcel challenge, do arcade, do what am I thinking? Take surveys. Those kind of all come together in a loop as well. So if you clear one, then another one will pop up in the same kind of vein. But you just have to, you know, do challenges to get a new one to pop up. That's basically it. And then it resets at the beginning of the month. So that's how that works. And, you know, the goal is to try to make your way through the whole challenge ladder before the end of the month. And if you're on the free side, then you get a free badge. If you pay the $9.99 per month for the challenge ladder subscription, then you also get the LPU, the legendary parcel upgrade, if you complete it. And then there's also that mid-month subscription. Say, for instance, you get most of the way through the ladder and you're like, hey, I'm going to complete the ladder. Maybe I should go ahead and subscribe. It's $14.99. Still worth it, because especially if you complete it. But yeah, probably a little bit more than what you wanted to know. But yeah, to be able to get a new challenge, you have to clear one of the challenges on the board. The Cave Dweller says the reward ladder LPU is a golf ball bouncing into a hole, it looks like. Cacker YT says, question number 2, do you believe the game will be around long enough to actually get an investment back for someone who just started? Okay, let's start with the investment part. This should be played as a game. In the terms of service, it states that play this as a game, not as an investment. And I always say this on my videos and on my live streams, because that's playing by the rules, right? Okay, so this should not be treated in the same vein as, you know, stock market or other investment types. Okay, now with that said, I have not seen all points I've seen about the game have been positive. You know, like I said earlier, they have not, like most other play to earn platforms and games, pulled back on what they're paying out. But like I said, and you can check my channel because I have hundreds of videos about strategy and everything. Actually buying Atlas Buck packages is probably your worst use of money in the game, if you want to put money back into the game, right? The best use is subscribing to that challenge ladder subscription. If, you know, this is your first month, you play through the month, if you get better than 75% through that challenge ladder, then if you do that $10 subscription, that's the better buy for next month, right? Because you're going to get way more Atlas Bucks out of the challenge ladder than what you would just buying Atlas Buck packages, especially if you go ahead and complete it and get that free badge and that free LPU. Brandon says, try Culver's, better than McDonald's. I don't even know what Culver's is. We do not have one of those restaurants around here. Happy Blue Dolphin says, cheaper place is actually In and Out. I don't have one of those either. Anyone like that place? That seems to have a good reputation. I saw one of the actors that had just got an, Michael B. Jordan, who got an, just got a, what did he get? One of the Golden Globe or Emmy, one of the big awards. Oscar, I don't know. I don't keep track of those. Anyway, he got one for that new movie he did for Netflix where he plays the two brothers. Good movie. I liked the movie. I didn't think it was worth all the awards they gave it, but it was a good movie. Either way, my point is that after the award show, he was at In-N-Out Burger, so they got a good reputation. I think that's just a Western United States place, if I'm wrong. I've never been to one here in the eastern part. Casey Moulton says Shopkick lost $25. Oh yeah, that was the one that Pharaoh Silver did the video about. Brandon says, I'm a fan of cashing out at the end of the month. Good plan. The Cave Dweller says, it's a learning keyboard. The song it teaches you is one of the songs I want to learn. Fun. So good start over. Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about that. I play a little bit of bass, but I had thought about one of those little learning keyboards, but I've got so many other things going on that I didn't. And a little bit of discussion about learning keyboards. The Cave Dweller says Culver's does butter burgers and frozen custard. Interesting. Eric says In-N-Out is always busy no matter where you go out west here. Yeah, I think that I thought it was a Western U.S. type of thing. And Brandon says, you like pizza. Yes, I do. Who doesn't like pizza? But in my area, up around Philly, in the Jersey, New York area, pizza is a big thing. And in fact, that's why the big pizza franchises like Domino's and Pizza Hut don't do too well up here, because there are a lot of local pizza restaurants that make far superior pizza. So yeah, I do like pizza. And in fact, I was thinking about buying a special stone for my oven. They call them pizza steels. For my oven, so I can make pizza and have the nice crispy crunchy. But it's also interesting because wherever you go, some places have different style of pizza, like Detroit's, Chicago's deep dish style. Love that too, but it's completely different pizza than what you're going to get around here, which is thin and crispy though. The Cave Dweller says In-N-Out started in California, but now they are expanding. Not a fan. Wait an hour for a burger that isn't any different and limited menu. Yeah, I mean, I've never been there, so I couldn't tell you. But I don't go out west too often. And Eric says, miss my Jersey pizzerias. Yeah, there's so many pizzerias in this whole area. It's like just where I live, we have, I don't know, I probably got about 6 or 8 to pick from that all make very good pizzas. Slightly different because one might be a New York style and one might be a little bit like thin and crispy. It just depends upon what the mood you're in, right? So anyway, we're drawing down towards the end of the hour and a half. I want to say thank you for stopping by. This has been Bronze Dragon, episode 55. I hope everyone has is getting their spring off to a good start. And once again, to those that observe it, happy Easter. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to everybody who is supporting the channel by kicking in with memberships or super chats, super stickers. I greatly appreciate it. My Financial Journey says, I've been thinking about getting a pizza steel. If you do try it, Bronze, let us know how it works. Well, I will do a little bit of a pizza steel review on a gaming channel. My brother has a outside pizza oven, and it goes on top of his smoker. So you can convert it to where the heat box, where you put your wood chips, cooks the pizza. I haven't went to that extent yet, though. The Cave Dwellers says, I have never had real pizza, only Pizza Hut, Domino's, etc. Need to visit the East Coast for those real pizza. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I moved from areas that generally just had the big names. And not that they're terrible. They really just come down to one Domino's can be great and one Domino's can be not great, right? And same thing with Pizza Hut. But they're much different style pizza than what you get over here on the East Coast. So anyway, this has been Bronze Dragon. I want to say thanks for stopping by. As always, I wish you a good week. Go out there and make some progress on your challenge ladder this week. And you should see a video from me this week on the channel. So I appreciate it. As always, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And this has been Bronze Dragon, and I'll see you in Atlas Earth.